Dystopian societies are representations of the future which allow readers to reflect upon the current socio-political structures in which they live. Dystopian novels like E.M. Forster's The Machine Stops and Anthony Burgess's A Clockwork Orange explore how one must exercise their volition by challenging machine-like authority to avoid the trap of complacency. A Clockwork Orange follows 15-year-old Alex and his droogs through the dystopic streets of London as they partake in a bit of the old ultra-violence. In Alex's world, ordinary citizens have fallen into a passive stupor of complacency, blind to the insidious growth of not just a rampant violent youth culture, but also corrupt law enforcement. The society accepts this reality as Alex and his gang are left unchallenged when confronting members of the public, forcing themselves into voluntary submission because of their fear and familiarity to their circumstances, and also those who dare to question their authority are punished by ultra-violence. Mr. Alexander, an intellectual writer and political figure who claims the government treats human beings as if they were clockwork oranges, creatures who look human but who can be manipulated and directed as if they were robots, is beaten and his wife raped because of resistance against authority in Alex, because he turned into something other than a human being. Burgess warns that society must avoid the trap of complacency by questioning authority to expose systemic abuse of power in today's world. Alex's rampage stops when he is thrown into prison for murder, where his violent ambitions and desires are stripped from him during a government experiment called the Ludovico technique, a brutal form of aversion therapy that includes Alex watching films of Nazi atrocities. Alex is stripped of all desire, including his love for classical music, introducing the idea that without having the choice of being evil, being good becomes an empty threat posed by society petrified by the depth of humanity. Alex pays the cost of complacency through his alienation from the rest of society, which is further accentuated as Burgess wrote the novel in Nadset, a lingo that is influenced by Old English and Russian which only Alex speaks and fully understands. Alex shows that without exercising one's volition, society traps itself into the hands of unjust authorities at the cost of our identity, yet ironically punishes those who exercise their volition, the true cost of a complacent world. The Machine Stops takes a more fatalistic approach to this statement where protagonist Kuno and his mother Vashti are victims of the system that favours complacency. Citizens may leave the machine, however, because it provides society with bare necessities, its people, like Vashti, become addicted to its lifestyle and even praise it like a divine being. When visiting Kuno, Vashti knows that she can exercise her free will to see him, however continually makes excuses when begged as she sees no practical means to do so. Vashti and other passengers are petrified of anything alien to the machine, including natural light and human interaction on their journey, even using the machine handbook as some sort of bible and crying out to the machine for comfort. This shows that the cost of Vashti's complacency and her over-reliance on the machine forces the divinity of authority and traps her as a prisoner inside her own world. Forster tells the story from Vashti's perspective in a limited third-person point of view. This technique masks the overbearing strength of the machine, exposed through Vashti's reaction when sinful Kuno challenges its authority. Any threat to the machine's divinity is immediately abolished. For example, those who bear strength at birth are destroyed as it is a demerit. When Kuno ventures to the Earth's surface, he is threatened with homelessness, a form of exile that supposedly results in one's death as exercising his volition attacks the machine's sovereignty. However, by exercising his volition, Kuno discovers the faults of the machine, ultimately allowing him to avoid a state of anarchy and be the only one at peace when the machine stops. Both Burgess and Forster use a narrow third-person perspective which allows the colours of the real world Alex and Vashti are living in to be exposed. Both texts support the idea of being seraphically free from tainted personality and an imponderable bloom showing through the way Kuno and Alex's society handles their discontentedness. It warns that if society continues moving towards complacency, there will be a generation devoid of choice and human expression. Kuno and Alex reveal that the cost of complacency is one's ability to be fulfilled by their own humanity, because we have lost a part of ourselves, as a man who cannot choose ceases to be a man. Burgess and Forster warn that the abstention of exercising one's volition mutes the human experience, forging a machine-like world that costs society its choice of humanity. Without this imponderable bloom, all those who are trapped in complacency pay the ultimate price of becoming clockwork oranges.